do they find out about you?
Okay. So one that I did not mention before is the Youth Job Link program, and that is a program for youth between the age of 14 to 17, and it's for youth who have never had a job before and getting them with a placement with an employer. That is our focus during the summer and during March break to take and at least help youth start to take and get connected. Also, we have the employment program that I'm managing, the Employment Ontario program, is for anyone and everyone. But the average age is about 37, 38. Mm-hmm. So you have some who are younger, some who are older. The persons with disabilities, it doesn't have an age group. It's for anyone who is self-disclosed as having a disability. So you have those who have physical limitations that come in. Very inspiring to take and see individuals who have a lot of trauma to their bodies and who are able to take and come in here for like the couple of weeks and every day, regardless of what they're going through.
How many people do you help per week, month, and year?
Per week would be probably, there's different pieces of our program. So there is the resource center that you've seen where it's open to anyone and everyone, and they're able to take and access it to take and do their job search on their own. There is the one-on-one component, which is making sure that their individual needs, so they get the private and the safe space to take and talk about what they need. And then there's the job developers who are connected with the employers, and they actually place individuals into a job to either connect them with an employer or help with onboarding costs, which is for the first couple of weeks of training on the job to make sure they're successful, and helping employers find the people that they need, so recruiting for employers. So I would say we do about direct placements about 10 to 20 a week, just at this location. Clients coming through doing one-on-one with a job coach, which is the individual assessment, and the individual help would be anywhere from 50 to 100 a week, more average about 50. And in the resource center, it's a couple of hundred a week.
Who do you help the most?
Are we looking at age group or social income, or?
I think just like generally like ages, like 18s to 20s or 30s to 40s, just anybody.
So it really is dependent. Like some weeks we have huge amounts of youth coming through and it's more students, especially in the summertime, especially the first 2 weeks after school is done. It's students mostly. Now it is anywhere from mid-20s to 50s, 60s. I know that's a broad range, but average is about 37 years old. And income, mostly social assistance, so on Ontario Works, or employment insurance.
Why are the programs and services designed the way they are?
Okay, so it's based on funder. So the Employment Ontario program is funded by the province through the Ministry of Education, and they provide us with a set guidelines that we have to take and follow, and what we must and we must not do, and then we can take and work around those parameters. We have been given certain budgets in different areas, so there's a budget for how much money we can take and spend per client and what their income can be for us to take and give them tokens. We have for the placements maximums that we can take and do for a placement that we can reimburse back to an employer, and then our operational costs. So it really is within that framework that we have to take and stay within. based on that, you can have a little bit of flexibility on how you as an agency would like to take and personalize the program. With the disabilities program, it is funded by Service Canada, so federal government, and their criteria is very different. So clients have very strict eligibility criteria on who we can take and see in those programs.
Okay. Have the programs changed over time?
Yes. So each year, the Employment Ontario program has different mandates that the ministry sees. So for example, for the last couple of years, youth unemployment was like at 17%. And they really wanted to take and bring that down. And so all the programming and money was focused on youth.
Yeah.
So there was a little bit for anybody who was 25 and over, but the focus was on youth 19 to 24. And how can we take, and so there was a lot of specialized services and financial incentives for employers to hire youth. So if you hired someone who was 35 with a degree in business admin versus a 20-year-old youth who just came out of high school and has no background, we may be able to give an employer for the 35-year-old $1,000 for reimbursing for training them for the first couple of weeks, whereas the 20-year-old youth, we could give $7,000.
Yeah.
So a huge difference. So who's the employer going to take and hire? Because financial is the bottom line, the budget's the bottom line. They're going to hire the 20-year-old, and they're going to take and give them the chance.
Yeah.
So it really is funder-based and what the economy is like. And it really takes and changes over that. Now, the big push is continue with the youth, but the youth programs have become a little bit more steady, and they're finessing them as the need is seen in what the labor market's like. But disability is now becoming bigger because they're realizing individuals with disabilities are finding a lot more challenges as well.
Have the charities faced any challenges in being about to deliver its programming and services?
Biggest challenge is budget, financial constraints. The funders provide a certain amount of operational funds, and you have to take and make it work. Even though the cost of living goes up, you know how minimum wage is going up to $14 an hour, our funding's not going to increase because of that.
Yeah.
So that always takes and is a big challenge, where you're given a certain amount of budget to facilitate the program, but salaries increase, expenses increase, supplies increase, rent increases, but the operational funding received from the funder may not increase.
Okay. Could you give us an example or tell us a story about one individual or group of people you have helped?
Okay. I'm going to take and use the Persons with Disabilities program because this is a brand new program from January, and it has had a huge impact on persons with disabilities, and it's both physical and mental or intellectual disabilities. And they've been able to take and place a lot of individuals in fields that they were interested in. So not just low-end types of opportunities, but actual positions that they were trained for. So that would be a big impact.
Okay, I think that's all.
Yeah, so